3.2 is about drawing perpendicular bisectors. We covered one of these ways when we were doing parallel and perpendicular lines. One way is to simply draw a line, and I'm going to do it kind of diagonal because I want you to see that it doesn't have to be a perfectly straight, it has to be a perfectly straight line, but it doesn't have to be parallel to the bottom of the page. Find a point in the middle, or measure the line, find the point in the middle. Okay, this is 76, 7, 8. So I want 35 and 4, 39. So that is my middle point. From there, I use my protractor to measure 90 degrees straight up. And I draw my line. This line, if I measure it, is 39 millimeters. This line, if I measure it, is also 39 millimeters. Those two lines are the same length, and that is a right angle, so that is a perpendicular bisector. There is another way to do it. Okay. Sorry?
Is it harder?
That I suppose depends on you. Sometimes the ones that I show you second are harder, and sometimes the ones that I show you second are easier, and it really depends on what you find harder and easier. The second way is to use your compass.
Oh yeah, you use your compass and then you measure that distance.
All right, here, hang on a sec, I gotta get my...
Do you draw a circle?
No. No, well, not exactly. Okay. So I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to draw a line like this. There is my line. Isn't it a lovely line? To figure out the perpendicular bisector, I need to take my compass and I need it to be more than half the distance. Okay, so that's more than half the distance, right?
Yeah.
Of my line. Okay. I put the compass, I'm going to label my points A and B. So I put my point on B. And I draw an arc. No. I put my point on A. You guys are talking.
Oh.
And I draw an arc.
And then when they meet, that's the exact middle.
I label this point. I'm going to label this C. Okay. All right. It can, yes. Now I'm running out of space on the bottom of my page, so I'm just going to take this and I'm going to extend my page a little bit.
Are you allowed to do that on test?
No. On tests you would have to do it again. But we're going to pretend that... There we go. We're going to pretend. So, now I do the same thing there, and I do the same thing on the other side of my line. I'm going to label this one D. Kind of wish I had tape right now. If I draw a line from C to D, it's perpendicular to line AB.
That is pretty cool.
Let's check. And 90-degree angle. Okay? So, line, actually, I'm going to show you how to write this properly. Line AB, that's how you write a line, is perpendicular to line CD. There we go. So you've got a couple of different ways of doing that. You can verify a perpendicular bisector by folding the paper. If I now take this out and I fold this paper along this line, this, you can, it's hard to see. Let's see if I can do this a little darker or with a felt. Maybe let's try this one. Okay, this line here, you guys are talking and I'd like you to stop. Okay, if I fold it along the perpendicular bisector, those two lines line up. Can you see that here? That line, both lines are the same. You don't have a line up or down from it. That's how you can tell if it's a perpendicular bisector. You can also use a mirror, the red thing, and put it on there. I don't really get those. It allows you to actually mirror the two sides. Hang on a second, I'll show you. All right, so to use a mirror, you take the mirror, which is this red thing, you put it on the line that you think is perpendicular, and I'm just going to tilt the camera, and the lines line up. Okay, the reflection of the line lines up with the line across the way.
It looks like it's just going right through it.
It may, but it does actually line up. It's hard. It's really hard to show on the document camera, but the mirrors are there and you're welcome to use them. If you look here, to use a mirror, you place the mirror on the perpendicular bisector, and points A and B should reflect into one another. Okay?
And that would mean they're perpendicular.
And that would mean they're perpendicular.
What if they're not?
If they don't reflect into each other, I'm going to make my points a little bigger. You're talking. Let's see if I can get that. No, you really can't see it with the document camera. However, you can see it when you're actually just doing it. You're talking. Key points with this one. A perpendicular bisector is a line that divides a line segment in half and is at right angles to the line segment. So here, the line divides it in half. That length from the red dot to the perpendicular bisector is the exact same length as from the perpendicular bisector to the other dot, and it's at a right angle. Some ways to create a perpendicular bisector include using a compass, using a ruler and a right triangle, and using paper folding, using your protractor. Yes?
On that thing, could we draw like a line and then draw our 90-degree and then put two dots that are the exact same part from the line going down, and that would be a bisector, or do we even have to do it perfect?
You would have to, well, you'd have to measure it fairly perfectly. So based on what I hear you saying, I'm going to draw a line. Okay, so my line is that long. There's my line segment. Okay. Measure the distance. Make a mark exactly halfway. And use, at that point, your protractor, or, and I've lost it, nope, there it is, or your right angle, triangle. Line up. If you're using the right angle triangle, you line it up to that line. And that bisects it exactly so that this line is the same length as that line. Or if you're using your protractor, you find your middle, you line up your protractor, you make a mark at 90 degrees, and you join the two lines. And you have, again, a perpendicular bisector. Does that answer your question?
No, I mean is like, say I draw like a 16 centimeter line.
Okay.
And I draw like the 90-degree line at 12 centimeters. And then
That's not a perpendicular bisector. That is perpendicular, but it's not a bisector. To be a bisector, it has to divide the line into two equal parts. Okay, so you would have to, if it's a 16 centimeter line, you'd have to make a mark exactly at 8 centimeters and do your perpendicular line from there. Okay?